Well, after recording their first shutout since 2009, we heard from Matt Rule here on Monday as he gets ready for Houston Christian before we get to the report. If you're looking for tickets, a great place to look is Game Time. Download the Game Time ticket app. Simply use that promo code ON3, and they've already got a lot of great lower prices on the Game Time app. We're going to take another $20 off your ticket order on that Game Time app. Again, use the promo code ON3 on the Game Time app on your whatever device you use. But let's get into what Matt Rule had to say. And first and foremost, he hit on just that shutout and the number of different players they were able to get a play in that football game.
Obviously, I'm still happy about the win from Saturday. I thought it showed lots of improvement in a lot of areas. Got a lot of guys to play. I think one of my main takeaways with the team is, it's hard to get shutouts because, if you're a decent human as a head coach, you want to put the 2s and the 3s in and 4s, and the guys have worked hard. And so sometimes those guys go in there and they're just not quite as prepared. And I was really, really pleased with the level of play from our second, third, and fourth team players. Those guys made plays. Those guys knew what to do, saved 1 or 2 plays. We executed at a high level, and the standard didn't drop, which hopefully gives those guys confidence that, they continue to play. I thought, one thing about Akron, they did not give up. They did not acquiesce the game. They didn't take their starters out. They played their guys to get better for their season in the MAC, and so our guys had a chance to play against starting caliber players, and so got a chance to see a lot of our players on offense, defense, and special teams get on tape. So happy that they were able to maintain the shutout, continue to score on offense, and you saw flashes of some of the players that we've been talking about. So,
and as for Houston Christian, now they'll come into Lincoln as an FCS team. They've put up some good defensive numbers, though, early on, according to Rule.
Turn our attention now to Houston Christian. 1-1, excellent defense. Ranked in, they've only allowed 1 third-down conversion the entire year. Ranked in the top 5 in several defensive categories, and obviously be a real challenge for us. They ran for 400-some yards the first game, and they just fumbled, had a couple of key fumbles last week. I think they had lost 4. Otherwise, they might have come out on top against Eastern Kentucky, which is a perennial FCS power. So I look forward to a great week of practice. And
a couple other things that have really jumped out for Nebraska on special teams. They've been able to get a lot out of their punt return game with Ja'Cory Barney.
Yeah, the first week we weren't super happy just because, we didn't do a great job stopping their Cincinnati's gunners. And so they got down there. So, Ja'Cory got hurt on the one, right? And so now I thought Ja'Cory did a nice job of making guys miss. And that was one of the missed opportunities. We had one play where, we had a missed assignment. And, we teach the guys if you get beat to cut bait. And Ja'Cory made the guys miss. Might have had an explosive one in the first game, but we just didn't quite execute it. So going back to this game, we knew, I instructed the offensive line, the defense, the offensive line and the defense, hey, when we have a punt return, you all should stand up, because we had a plan to, double the gunners and force big returns. They had 3 offensive linemen out there and a punter who wasn't super runner, so we weren't really afraid of the fake. So now you can go to doubling the gunners. The minute you do that, you lighten the box. There's a chance of someone faking it. And we felt like we were going to have some opportunities, and we just have a special guy back there in Ja'Cory, and we have. There's I don't know what you guys have been covering. Has anybody posted the one punt return? Has anybody posted the one punt return where they literally take both outside guys and drive them off the field, into the I guess it'd be the south end zone. We literally both guys backed up. The guys do such a nice job. And Derek Branch, served as captain last week. He ran a guy at Cincinnati off the field on punt return, and then continue to do a great job again this week. Kamir Prescott, Rex Guthrie. We got a bunch of guys out there that are really competing and playing hard. So I think anytime you can neutralize their outside people getting down the field, you have a chance at big returns. And so it was good to see. With that being said, we'll have to continue to improve. But it was good to have those yards, and especially when we told them ahead of time, hey, you're going to have chances on this. Be ready, and the guys were ready. I'm really happy with the way they executed.
One of the areas that you got the sense Rule wants to see more out of this week, though, is with his offensive line, as he would love to see the run game be even better.
I thought they did. I thought we should have more yards rushing. We ran duo once or twice and got the ball at the front side and got tackled by the safety. That's when we should make the guy miss. I thought the offensive line played really well.
We saw Nebraska, though, make some changes up front. They used Turner Corcoran last week at times, not at left tackle, but as an extra blocking tight end.
Yeah, I mean, he played at left tackle, and then we wanted to, excuse me, try to use some jumbo 12, a big tight end in there along with Luke, so that we could try to take advantage of the edge, try to run some of our duo plays and some other plays we didn't get to. But I think that's one of the benefits of Turner. He's so smart. He can be ready to play left tackle and play tight end and have it not affect him. So he's a prime candidate for that. We have a couple other guys who I know could do it, but as Turner's working back into getting healthy, it just seemed like a perfect fit for him.
And quarterback Dylan Raiola is towards the top right now in the country. He leads the Big Ten right now with 47 completed passes. That's over 11 more than the next closest player in the league at this point. And Rule said the biggest thing, though, is no turnovers.
That he didn't turn the ball over. I mean, if we don't turn the ball over, you can look at the last 10 years, 12 years, whatever it's been, of not having the records we want. You can just simply trace it back to like the turnover margin and the amount of balls that have been turned over. I mean, for my first year, I think we minus 17 or something horrific like that, to getting to like minus 2 last year. But we have to be in the plus to win. And so I think when you're throwing the ball, I know he's he's the 5th rated quarterback in the country in terms of completion percentage at 78%, but he's thrown the most passes of anybody too. And so, I mean, is it 14 or 15 different receivers he completed the ball to this past game? 14. That to me is not like, hey, we're not coming out and saying like, hey, we're going to block this up just for this one guy. Like, hey, throw it to him. Like, we're coming out and we're just operating the offense, and whoever's open gets the football. And so I love the fact that Dylan's protecting the football. He's taking what the defense gives him. He's moving the ball all around the field. And that then makes, as we move on, right? Because right now it's like week 1, week 2. You don't look at those in snapshots. As you get to like week 6, week 7, week 8, and you're looking back at an offense's body of their history, their book of business. I look at them. I'm like, okay, well, who are their gotta have it players? It's 4th and 3. Where's the ball going? It's 3rd and 10 at the 10. Where's the ball going? And most teams it's like, hey, they're gonna try to get the ball to this guy. But with Dane and him, like they're gonna go through progressions. Like they're gonna even the play that went to Dane. Like that's really a play to the touchdown to Dane. That's really a play to Ja'Cory. It's X and Z races. They race across the formation. They can go to either guy, but really you're thinking Ja'Cory is going to win across the field in man, and then the safety rolled over the top, and Dane just kept running. And like that's a ball. You're not going to see many guys. I told you guys I didn't want a ton of wow plays. That's a wow play. That throw was a wow play. And I think you guys understand what I mean. I'm talking about like the run around, throw it behind my back, which he can do. And there'll be a time to do it. But I love him just operating in the pocket, sliding around the pocket. And I love the fact he ran the football. Had the spin move down around the goal line. He had, a couple other ones. Like, those are things that keep people honest. But just the fact that we're getting the ball to so many different people means as a defense, there's a ton of balance. You're not coming out on your scouting report saying, hey, we got to take away this guy. You can say right now we got to take away Emmett Johnson, because he's obviously, I think he's top. What is he? They give me this stuff, right? Emmett Johnson is 7th nationally in yards from scrimmage, and he played half the game last week. So you could say take him away, but then you take away Isaiah, Dane, Ja'Cory. Who do you take away? And then we're talking about Ja'Cory as a guy I didn't even think was going to. When I sat here last week, I was like, I don't even know if he'll play. And, he goes out and does what he does. But I think a lot of that's like he's not the first progression on some of those, right? Some of those are, hey, I'm going to throw the ball to Luke's the first progression. They play man, let me get backside to Ja'Cory. And so I think those are the things that encourage me, not the score, but just the way that we're executing the things we're supposed to execute.
We even got a good look at Dylan Raiola's backup, TJ Lateef, for the first time. He engineered 3 straight scoring touchdown drives.
I mean, I'll never forget like putting Charlie Brewer in. We were getting our, I can't use the word, but you know what kicked. And it was against Oklahoma State, and we were like, Charlie, all right, that's back when if you played him, I got fried for putting him in the game because you burned your red shirt, right? So Charlie, go in the game, and literally I remember him putting his helmet on, and he looks at Garrett McGuire, and he's like, well, I'm never coming out, and went running in the game. Now, he was out 3 series later, but like that's the confidence he had. I'll never forget PJ. We put when we lost that game, I talked about that Fordham game. We were trying to get something going. We put him in, and he had a guy wide open. He threw a beautiful, just overthrew him. He catches that ball. If the guy catches that ball, we probably don't lose that game, and PJ's probably the starter. It took me like another 3 games. Well, TJ's not in that same situation, but I thought he exhibited the same confidence and the same, like, I'm going to go do what I do. And at the same time, still operated the offense. It wasn't like he was out there running around, he threw the ball on time. He missed the one sail route a little high. He made the right reads. He put the ball in guys' hands. He ran the football, and He didn't reach the ball across the goal line. Just all these little details that you're looking for your quarterback to make good decisions, to protect the football and move the offense. I thought TJ showed all those things, and he just didn't look like a freshman to me. You know, he just didn't look like – even the first snap was a little bit high, and he caught the ball and just kept playing. So I think, you know, my thing with TJ is always like, hey, when we need you, you're going to have to be ready. And I thought that was real signs of life for him in terms of he's going to be ready. But he's had good practices. That's why he's been elevated up into that role. And then we're lucky to have a guy like Jalen here, Gramstad, who can operate everything and can play at a high level too. And then Marcos just gets better and better and better. So we have a really, really healthy quarterback room. TJ was very pleasant to see.
And finally, it's an 11 a.m. game. You're playing an FCS team coming off back-to-back night games. Naturally, there are going to be just some challenges this week. Getting your team up and ready for a kind of completely different feel.
Our fans are going to show up at Legacy Walk. They're going to be like they were last week, and they're going to show up to the game, and they're going to be amazing because, I mean, I'm just telling you, man, like I sat there with the recruits, and I was like, all right, listen, where'd you go last week? I went to here. I went here in the – okay, look up there at the student section. Was it like that an hour before the game? Like, look at it. Look at it. At the other game, I'm like looking at people. I'm like, look how many people are still here at the game. It's just unreal. So I bet you we'll be pretty good. That being said, 11 o'clock for us. Now, we practice in the mornings. You know, I took a chance at Cincinnati. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure it was the right move by me. I practiced that night that week, and that can kind of wear you out. So last week, the guys were kind of like still kind of, man, what's the schedule? We got into our schedule, and we made one change at the end of our week. Kristen Coggin has been suggesting this for 2 years to come in later on Fridays, and we did it. And the guys were unbelievably fresh, and so I said, Kristen, I trust Kristen with my life. That's how good she is. And she said, I'm telling you, it'll help us. And so we made that global change, but that won't affect practice. So I think for us, the guys are in the building on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at I walk in, I come walking in down by the weight room at 5:45, 6 o'clock. And there's guys walking in, hey, what's up, coach? So, I mean, we're kind of an early morning organization. So the early morning games for us are hopefully something that we should be locked in for. I think the one thing we'll see this week is literally, and I don't know this all the time, but talking to Corey, how many guys don't understand the schedule because they're so new. There's however many new players. And so Gabe Moore, he's on the trip and Corey was saying, Will Waneri is telling him, no, make sure you don't go upstairs now. We're going to do this next. And so it's just travel and first time at the home, first time away. There's a lot to it. So this week I think they'll be a little more settled. It's okay, this is what we do. I understand the schedule now. We walk through it in preseason, but until you actually do it, it's hard. But I don't change anything else other than just trusting that the morning preparation will be good for us. And I think, like I said, our student section, our fans, a lot of places in the country, you don't get that at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I think we will.
And Rule also did say here on Monday, all eyes in his program will be on that Terrence Bud Crawford fight later that Saturday night. And there's no doubt this entire building is Team Crawford. With the Huskers in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.